Hey, Amy, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I made some changes in my book, and I just want to make sure we're operating off the right agenda sheet. So I got two different agendas here, and I don't show a timestamp difference. So if you go to section 8, it says, the agenda I'm working off says approval of payment to the Secretary of the U.S. Treasury, and the other one says approval of proposed leases.
So we still have the payment of the U.S. Treasury, but it's the item before that now. So leases, that is the right number.
Okay, so, all right, so I just went through a whole exercise of changing my tabs, but, all right, we'll get through it. What was deleted? So deleted was the request for designation of bad debt?
Correct. That was not posted on the agenda, sir. We removed that.
All right. All right. Morning, Cisco. Morning, Aaron.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Can you
Doug.
hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Everybody ready to go? All right, let me call to order State of Nevada Board of Examiners meeting scheduled for March 14th of 2023 at 10 a.m. Can we have the clerk do the roll?
Governor Lombardo,
Present.
Secretary of State Aguilar,
Here.
Attorney General Ford.
Here.
Let the record reflect we have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. Agenda item number 2, public comment. This will be the first public comment period limited to comments on items of the agenda. No action may be taken upon a matter raised under this public comment period unless the matter itself has been specifically included on the agenda as an action item. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Do we have anybody to the north?
I don't see any, sir.
Do we have any written or on the internet?
We do not, sir.
Okay. Anybody here? Okay, no public comment to the south. That will close agenda item number 2. Moving on to agenda item number 3. Approval of the February 14th, 2023 meeting minutes for possible action. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Who was that, Cisco?
Yes.
All right, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Any against? Hearing none, motion passes. Agenda item number 4, authorization for emergency contract with a current and/or former state employee. And that would be with Office of the Secretary of State.
Correct. There is one request under agenda item number 4 pursuant to NRS 333.705 subsection 4. The Secretary of State's office seeks a favorable recommendation regarding the office's determination to use the emergency provision to contract with former employees to train new and existing staff in accounts payable and accounts receivable. The office seeks to use the emergency provision to contract with the employee from January 23rd, 2023 through May 22nd, 2023 on a part-time basis through Manpower. Are there any questions on this item?
None here.
Okay, hearing no questions, Mr. Ford, can I get you to make a motion?
Move approval.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I don't know,
Abstain.
Cisco.
I'm
Are you
abstaining.
abstaining?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Hearing no nays, the motion passes. Congratulations, Cisco.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to agenda item number 5, authorization to contract with current and/or former state employees. I'm going to take these individually, Amy, if you wouldn't mind, because I have questions on several of them.
Yes, sir. There are 11 requests under agenda item number 5 today. The first one, request A, is from the Department of Administration, Purchasing Division. This item requests authority to contract with a former employee to educate, assist, and train for the treatment, care, and custody of juvenile offenders residing with Caliente Youth Center for the Division of Child and Family Services. The department intends to contract with this employee from March 15th, 2023 through December 31st, 2023 on a part-time basis with Marathon Staffing Group, Inc. Are there any questions on this item?
I have no questions. Can I get a motion for approval?
Motion to approve, Cisco.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes.
Request,
Go ahead, Amy, you can walk through them.
sorry, sir, thank you. Request B is from the Department of Administration, Purchasing Division. The department requests authority to contract with the former employee to review, update statutes and regulations with a focus on recruitment and retention for the Division of Human Resources Management. The department intends to contract with the employee from March 20, 2023 through August 21st, 2024 on a part-time basis through Manpower. Are there any questions on this item?
Yes, what is the term of the contract?
Right now, the term of the contract, they're requesting through August 21st, 2024.
Okay, so that's where I have an issue. I understand the description of the request, but what is the need to have it go through August of '24 and not, I would understand at the end of this calendar year, but the need to go to the August of '24 is not understandable for this particular item. So if anybody is in the room to justify this item, I appreciate you come to the dais.
Thank you for the question, sir. For the record, Mandy Bosmith, Administrator for the Division of Human Resource Management in the Department of Administration. Sir, we asked for the contract term to be as long as it is, specifically because we are working on several initiatives that are going to require some high-level human resources expertise. And within the division right now, we have a lot of talent, but it's a lot of younger talent in terms of years of service with the state. Ms. Hassett in particular brings a wealth of state experience in the Department of Health and Human Services, Agency Human Resources Services, and the Division of Human Resource Management. And we are hoping that her expertise will help us with our initiatives going forward, both in undertaking our mandate from Executive Order 2 and 3, and also to improve retention and recruitment outcomes for our division and for the rest of the state. We are, however, sir, if I may suggest, we are amenable to making a shorter contract if that pleases the governor, and then bringing it back before you if we believe we require Ms. Hassett's services longer than that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're amenable to it, yes, I would request that you bring it back to, with the ending date of 12/31. So I'll make a motion on agenda item 5B to approve the contract with the ending date of 12/31. Matter of protocol, is the DAG there?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, she's right here in front of me. Do we just bring it back on next examiner's meeting with the new contract terms, or can we make a motion for approval at this time?
Mr. Governor, whatever your choice is, so you can approve it to 12/31, and then as soon as the contract is signed to 12/31, it'll be effective, or if you want to see it again, you can just bring it back.
Okay, we'll do it at her recommendation. So the motion will be for the contract to be amended to 12/31 of '23, and I move for approval. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to agenda item 5C.
Request C is from the Department of Administration Purchasing Division. The department requests authority to contract with a former employee to provide technical assistance with the management of several federal grants and assist with new discretionary and formula federal grants for the Department of Public Safety. The department intends to contract with the employee from March 15th, 2023 through December 31st, 2023 on a part-time basis with manpower. Are there any questions on this item?
Yes, I have a question. I'm not familiar with Mr. Kirby, but I would like to know, is it my understanding his term of service with the state was in a different department? Is there somebody to speak to this agenda item?
Yes, they're coming to the dais right now, sir.
Is that it? Okay. Good morning. Thank you for asking some questions about this particular contract. Yes, Mr. Kirby worked for the Behavioral Health Department, and our agency, we're the Office of Criminal Justice Assistance with DPS, and we're successful in bringing in additional federal grants, so we need additional manpower to assist with managing the grants. And the main one that is the largest right now is $3 million, and it focuses on health, and it's for the SCIP grant, which is the Safer Community, it's the statewide, what is it? It's the statewide crisis intervention program, the SCIP grant, and it addresses gun violence and mental health. So Mr. Kirby had previously applied with our agency for a GPA position, so we would like to bring him on board to assist him with his additional experience in this area.
I'm sorry. Could you state your name for the record really quick,
I
too?
apologize. Victoria Howen, I'm the administrator of the Office of Criminal Justice Assistance. I apologize.
Thank you, Victoria. Well, I appreciate that description, and it seems like it fits into the description of the grant. So I'll make a motion for approval of, excuse me, which number are we on now?
C, sir. 5C.
5C for the Department of Administration for the approval of William T. Kirby via the Master Service Agreement. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Amy, are you going to handle, moving on to item 5D?
Yes, sir. Request D is from the Department of Administration Purchasing Division. The department requests authority to contract with a former employee to assist with agency administrative and fiscal functions for the Division of Child and Family Services. The department intends to contract with the employee from April 5th, 2023 through June 30th, 2024 on a part-time basis through Marathon Staffing Group, Inc. Are there any questions on this item?
Yes. The term of the contract, I understand, is through June of '24.
Yes, sir. There's someone at the dais.
Okay. Yeah, so my concern is it being June 24, similar to the previous item, instead of 12/31 of 23.
Yes, for the record, my name is Heather Bugg. I'm the Administrative Services Officer for the division. This was requested in relation to ARPA funds and the contracting work that relates to the Children's Behavioral Health Initiatives. It was requested through the state fiscal year 2024 when the ARPA funding expires.
Okay, so it's based on ARPA funding schedule?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I'll make a motion for approval. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Moving on to agenda item 5E.
Request E is from the Department of Administration Purchasing Division. The department requests authority to contract with a former employee to assist with grant-related job setup and maintenance and provide support with audit reporting. The department intends to contract with the employee from March 20th, 2023 through December 31st, 2024 on a part-time basis with Marathon Staffing Group. Are there any questions on this item?
Yes, one question on this one, similar to the previous ones. The term of the contract, as I understand, is through 12 of 24, but I understand it's grant-related, so is that the length of the grant or no?
Thank you, Governor, for that question. For the record, James Smack, Chief Deputy Controller. Yes, the contract is funded by ARPA funds, so it is grant-related, and the contract is coinciding with our reporting schedule as much as anything for grant reporting and federal reporting for the single audit.
Okay, any other questions on this item?
None here. Move approval.
No, sir.
Okay, we have a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you for that description. So hold on, Amy. So items F through K, I don't have any annotated questions. So if we can move to approve them as a group, if their boards, any other board members don't have any questions, I would propose we do that.
No questions from me, Governor.
Move approval.
All right, so we have a motion for approval for items 5F through K. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 6, request for approval of proposed state administration manual changes.
Thank you, sir. This request proposes changes to Chapter 2905 of the State Administrative Manual to increase the tort claim payment limit to $200,000 without BOE approval to match the current NRS 41.035. Are there any questions on this change?
I do have a question, Cisco. Can you just give me a justification for the change?
Thank you for so the change was to match. So right now, NRS 41.035 has a limit of $200,000 without going to BOE, but our state administrative manual has $100,000. So we want them to match because right now there's a discussion which trumps like NRS or SAM, so we're trying to make it easy.
Right. No other questions. Motion to approve.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Bear with me because I'm working off 2 agendas here. So, all right, moving on to agenda item number 7. Approval of payment to the Secretary of the U.S. Treasury pursuant to the Cash Management Improvement Act.
Pursuant to Section 98 of Assembly Bill 494 of the 2021 legislative session, the state controller requests approval of a payment to the U.S. Treasury in an amount not to exceed $120,082 from the general fund for interest owed under the Cash Management Improvement Act of 1990. This act ensures efficiency and equity between the time that federal funds are drawn and expended, with the state incurring an interest liability if it draws funds too early, and the federal government incurring liability to the state if the state funds are used for federal program purposes. The amount of $120,082 is the highest possible state liability for 2022. Payment to the U.S. Treasury is required by March 31st, 2023. Are there any questions on this item?
No questions for me.
Motion for approval. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion passes. Moving on to agenda item number 8, approval of proposed leases.
Please note for the record that lease number 2 and 3 have been pulled from the agenda per the Department of Administration. This leaves 2 leases under agenda item number 8 for approval by the board. Lease number 1 is a retroactive extension of an existing lease. Are there any questions on these remaining 2 items?
No questions?
Motion to approve? Items 1 and 2, or 1 and 4?
1 and 4.
1 and 4? Okay, there's a motion. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Motion passes. Moving on to agenda item 9, approval of proposed contracts.
There are 37 contracts under agenda item number 9 for approval by the board today. Are there any questions on any of these items?
I do have 2 questions. So I will make reference to contract number 2. The question on that is as it described, this is a new contract to provide grant management and federal reporting services to the tune of $3,635,000. Being that I don't have the contract, what is the justification for that significant cost? Do we have anybody here to make comment? Amy?
He's down in Vegas with you, sir.
Governor.
Oh, there you are. Sorry.
Good morning, Governor.
Good.
Brian Mitchell, Director of the Office of Science, Innovation, and Technology for the record. Governor, this contract is to help the state manage the significant amount of grant funding that we are receiving for broadband over the next 4 years. So far, those dollar amounts are about $400 million. We expect to receive another $300 to $400 million in total broadband funding. The funding is across 4 different funding sources, so there's multiple funding sources within that pot of money, and we anticipate managing well over 150 individual grants over the course between now and December 31st of 2026. And so this grant would, this contract would assist OSID in developing award agreements and certifications for each funding source, audit quarterly and financial and programmatic grant reports and reimbursement requests, and present those audit reports to OSID for review and approval. Assist the state when processing requests for reimbursement based on achievement of construction milestones and other milestones. Assist the state with and OSID with aspects of federal financial reporting and compliance with 2 CFR 200. And then finally assist OSID prepare and comply with federal audits. So when taken as a percentage of the total awards, while it seems like a large dollar amount, we believe it's commensurate with the total amount of work that's going to be provided.
Thank you, Brian. So Brian, just a matter of reference or clarification for me, why is it based on 150 plus grants? Why is it diversified at that number?
Thank you, Governor, for the question. Brian Mitchell for the record. With the funding that we anticipate receiving, we anticipate making approximately 100 to 150 different awards. Some of those awards will be for
separate contracts.
Separate contracts that the grant managers would be doing either for construction or for digital equity programming.
All right, well, thank you for that clarification. And then moving on to a second question on, and this is, I don't know if this is really a question or not, but if we go to contract number 32, Amy, and board members, it just caught my eye that the contract was over a period of 4 years, but the request is only 100,000. Do we know what the original contract term was?
So the original contract, sir, was $99,999.96.
But what was the term of the contract?
Hold on one second. So I believe the time isn't changing, so it, through June 30th, 2026 was the original contract as well.
Huh.
This is adding money, sir, not
Right,
time.
I understand. Huh. Okay, so the original amount was 99,000, which was under the threshold of reporting.
Yes. Which was under, it was an information, so with that dollar amount, it didn't have to come to the full board. The clerk of the board could sign the contract with that
Okay.
original amount.
All right. All right, so do we have a motion for approval of the contracts under this agenda item?
Motion to approve. Cisco.
All right, we have a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
motion passes. Moving on to agenda item number 10, approval of proposed master service agreements.
Please note for the record, the master service agreement number 2 has been pulled from the agenda, leaving only one master service agreement under agenda item number 10 for approval by the board today. Are there any questions on the remaining master services agreement?
No questions. I'll make a motion for approval. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
motion passes. Moving on to agenda item, hold on, bear with me. All right, moving on to agenda item number 11, information item, clerk of the board of contracts.
There are 24 contracts over $10,000 and under the $100,000 threshold that were approved by the clerk of the board between January 19th, 2023 through February 14th, 2023. This item is informational. Are there any questions on any of these items?
Yes, I do. I have a question on contract number 10. It's from the Department of Health and Human Services to the amount of $32,000, and the description is professional development database to support employee retention. Why would we have a separate database within a particular department for employee retention? Why wouldn't that be a statewide enterprise system?
Good morning, Governor Lombardo and members of the board. My name is Lorianne Molina Level with the IDEA Parsi Office. My program is within the Department of Health and Human Services within the Director's Office. Thank you for the question regarding a contract with EBSCO Corporate Solutions. EBSCO provides a research database which will allow access to peer-reviewed journal articles so that professional learners can complete their professional development coursework to achieve their licensure to maintain their positions. This is part of a retention initiative to hold on to the existing personnel and to attract additional personnel. And so in reference to your question, why such a database wouldn't be allowed statewide, we do have, the state does have a contract with EBSCO in the state of Nevada's library system. However, the search engines that are under contract with the library are for topics that are more for middle school, high school. And so for our system, we are reaching populations that are birth to 3 for infant and toddlers with disabilities. And so using our ARPA grant from the Governor's Finance Office, we would be able to search for early childhood education journal articles, and those would be evidence informed, again, to help our personnel complete their professional development coursework. And we cannot overstate how severe the shortages have been for the early intervention system. And so allowing us to have this tool as a resource to complete licensure requirements will help us, again, to retain our personnel and to attract additional personnel.
So you're saying it's an expansion of the existing state system? So it's more defined on
It
early
is.
intervention?
Thank you, Governor Lombardo. Lorianne Molina Level, again, for the record. And we don't consider this option as an expansion. It is a separate tool being used within our system and not a part of the state's library system.
Will you be hindered when the ARPA grant monies run out?
We
Or
don't
will this
believe.
continue to operate?
Thank you, Lorianne Molina Level. Again, for the record, we don't anticipate that we would be hindered from continuing to access or to continue the contract for another 3-year subscription. The cost is $32,940 for this 3-year subscription. And we do have annual formula grant funding that can cover the payment for this in future years.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, so any other question by any board members?
No.
No? All right.
No, thank you.
Make a motion for approval. Agenda item number 11, information item clerk of the board contracts. All those in favor?
There's no motion, sir. This is an informational item.
Oh, hold on, let me look. Remember, I'm working off 2 different agendas here.
Attorney General Ford was whispering in my ear saying no motion, so.
It wasn't even annotated, so thank you, Aaron, for that. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 12, information item report.
There are 2 informational reports under agenda item number 12 today. The first report is from the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, Division of State Lands for fiscal year 2023, second quarter. Pursuant to NRS 321.5954, subsection 4, the State Land Registrar is required to provide the Board of Examiners quarterly reports regarding lands or interest in lands transferred, sold, exchanged, or leased under the Tahoe Basin Act program. This report covers program activities for the period of October 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022. Would you like me to go into further details on this report?
Any questions, any board members?
None here.
Just have a question. Is the pier that is being developed with this additional land, is it a private pier or a public pier?
There we go. All right. Sorry about that. Governor, members of the board, Charlie Donahue. I serve as the administrator for the Division of State Lands. Your question, Mr. Secretary, regarding the coverage that was sold. Yes, it's a multi-use pier. It's a private pier.
Were there any other questions, or would you like me to move on to the second one?
Go ahead, move on.
The second report is a statewide quarterly overtime report, fiscal year 2023, second quarter. Pursuant to NRS 284.180, the Department of Administration, Division of Human Resource Management, must prepare and submit quarterly to the Budget Division of the Office of Finance a report regarding all overtime worked by employees of the Executive Department during the quarter. The Budget Division shall transmit quarterly to the Board of Examiners the report and the analysis of the Budget Division regarding the report. The Budget Division submits the second quarter overtime report and analysis for fiscal year 2023. Are there any questions on this item?
Bear with me. Is there any other board members that have questions?
Yeah, Aaron Ford for the record. Just want to be sure I'm not missing something here. At the bottom of page 1, it says that the 5 agencies with the highest dollar amount of overtime and accrued comp time for the quarter accounted for 89.6% of the total, but it only lists 4 agencies. Am I missing a fifth somewhere? Am I misunderstanding what's been stated here?
It's a typo, sir. So it should say the top 4 because the 5th one was so far away.
Very well.
So I will correct that.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No questions?
So, Amy, does the so it gives for the total pay for the second quarter of fiscal year '23. Can you provide a report, not for today's purposes, but for personal purposes of the ongoing costs per quarter? So that I'm not just seeing it as a quarter?
Yes, sir. Would you like me to send it to all members of this board?
Yeah, if you would. And then associated with it is the percentage of vacancy within each one of those departments.
Okay, will do.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for item 12B?
No questions?
All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to item 13, public comment. This is the second opportunity for public comment. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Do we have any public comment to the north?
No, sir.
All right. Any public comment? Come on, somebody say something. Sonia, you want to say something?
Yes, sir.
All right, we have no public comment to the south. We will close the public comment and we will move to item 14, adjournment. Can I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you, everyone. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Scott.